My name's George Wylde and you're listening to The Journey Podcast, a show where we discuss how health and fitness has not only helped my own life, but how it's impacted the lives of others through diversity and how it's helped others gain success. Things have changed a lot over the last couple of weeks since I've last been on. So what's gone on? Most importantly, we just recently got engaged. So this will come out a couple of weeks after. But yes, we've just been away to Rome with Lauren. She's been competing at the Amateur Olympia, which was an insane experience, incredible standard of athlete, and she actually did incredibly well. Held her own massively on a very big stage with a very high standard. But yeah, look, I've been through bits and pieces this year. There's been a lot going on. She's been the absolute rock throughout. So it's something we want to do when in Rome. But no, it was the perfect timing for me. And yeah, it was lovely. And luckily she said yes. So, like I said, there's been a few bits going on. My eyes have been open to an awful lot. She's been the absolute rock in everything in terms of everything I've done support from the off. So like I say, I'm not going to go too into depth and be too soppy, but I can't emphasize my gratefulness enough for that. So yeah, that's one thing that's gone on. I've grown up and I'm engaged, which was lovely. So we're back now. We've got a few bits going on. So let's talk about more about me, the personal journey. So last time you've seen, obviously we were a move coach has been working with Ben Chow, who's been nothing short of amazing, especially with my latest kind of venture, so to speak, which I will go on to about sort of myself and my competing plans if they are to be. So I've been working with Ben for the last 20 odd weeks, maybe more. Obviously the last video you've seen, we were heavily pushing up. We were pushing. My goal was to move up into open class bodybuilding from men's physique, which to be honest was something I needed to do due to the nature of the way that I'm built. I loved men's physique. I tried to stay in men's physique for as long as I possibly could, but due to the nature of, I think, my build, I was held back. I'm just not naturally one of these people who do have these very, very small waists, nice wide clavicles, sadly. And I was just playing against my strengths the whole time. So I think, I enjoyed competing from an emotional level. So therefore I just competed year after year. I think it's 6 years in a row, which took away from my ability to be able to grow. So every time I'd start an off season, it'd come to a time where it was, 6 months in, maybe more, 8 months in, it was time to diet again. It just very much limited my progress. And that was down to the fact that I was so emotionally attached to being on stage and being in shape that I never allowed myself to kind of reach my, I hit my own ceiling. It never reached my full potential. So this year we had a few bits going on. Obviously I'm working more and more now with clients, which is wonderful. So I thought, now's the time to take a step back from my own personal goals, which are always going to go on in the background. I will always eat my meals. I'll always do my cardio. I'll always do my training. But as a byproduct of competing, for anyone who has or dieted even knows at the back end that your energy levels are obviously somewhat sapped. And I know firsthand, no matter how much you say it doesn't, it was starting to impact from a work perspective, which I wasn't enjoying. And like I say, so it was a conversation I had with myself and Lauren, who supports me always. And, it's a case of just I could make 2 huge wins. I could progress myself and I could look to progress work and progress my clients, which both for me were a priority. So that was kind of the route we took. And from there, obviously started to put some weight on, which is great. Sort of earlier this year, we kind of had some troubles at home. I lost my dad. That created a bit of home stress. I mean, again, for me, my coping, and this is, I'm a bit strange in the terms of I look at everything, I create a positive outlook on it, and where my history has taken me to now and what I've learned over the years, I was able to kind of cope with it, so to speak, in terms of I knew my routine, my structure, my regimen. That was my comfort zone, and I threw myself straight back in again into my work. I had clients reach out and were like, George, I work the same day. That for me was a coping mechanism. Same with my training. I trained the same day. That for me worked, so therefore we sort of pushed through. But I think it did possibly cause some further stresses to the body. I don't like to. I'm not one for making excuses. That possibly, I don't know. But since then we kind of had I got struck with a bit of a virus. I ended up in hospital for a week. They struggled to put their finger on what it was. Luckily, I had a full MOT. I was looked after greatly. Nothing seemed to come back out of the ordinary. But I just wasn't feeling all that well. And I think someone who trains, they can talk about I have full control of my muscles, I like to think, and I have full control of my body. So when something's not up. So left hospital being told I was all good to go, which is cool. Had some further issues. And And then from there, like, it's just, obviously I was in the middle of trying to push my weight up, wasn't making me feel any better. And I got to an all-time heavy weight, felt awful, looked as good as I possibly could, but I just was not feeling good. And like I said, obviously with life things going on, perspective has changed. You know, we're obviously dad, now we've got Lauren's, the world, the family means the world. So it's a case of, I could continue to push on, not feeling good. Again, the doctors were kind of saying things were okay. So I just personally didn't feel okay. And I was starting to have more and more, I was just getting myself worked up on a daily basis because I knew I wasn't feeling all that good. So I spoke to Ben. This is where I go back to Ben. Ben's been amazing. So right now, the current change in direction is what I should probably get to in the end. I digress a lot. Is that we're going to run a phase of, I'm just trying to lose a bit of weight, just trying to make myself feel a bit better. Again, my body just wasn't happy being at that weight. Again, off the back of a virus. There was just all sorts going on, which we still have not yet pinpointed. But yeah, so we've got a new phase. We've got a new goal. Again, I'm not one to sit and dwell on stuff and sulk. It's like, I'm actually really excited. I'm going to get really, really good at. So my goal is now we're going to drop a bit of weight off. We're going to maintain strength. I'm going to be the fittest, strongest man I can possibly be. So for these people who sit and sulk and dwell and find an excuse to throw in the towel when things get a little bit hard, it's like, just change your mindset, change your direction, just be the best. And this is a conversation I have with many, many people. They say, you know, if I was to eat this is the way my mind works. If I was to eat one brownie today, I'm going to eat 2 tomorrow. I'm going to be, whatever I set my mind, I'll be the best brownie eater in the world if that was the goal. You know, find a way of channeling that energy and pushing it forward. So like I say, right now, I'm actually quite excited. I didn't feel all that good being that heavy, so I feel much better now. I've had a significant weight loss. You'll probably see it in my head from the last video. Not so much of a moon. Still look as tired, but, you know, and it's a case of like, we're going to go in, the training's no different. Food's been dramatically hard, but I'm quite enjoying that as a byproduct of being quite poorly. My appetite was shot, so I was really not enjoying the food, which again is another thing I pushed through that because I was like, maybe trying to be hardcore, I don't know, but I had a goal. So if people get uncomfortable, they'll drop out all that quickly, and for me that was not in my nature to do, so I pushed and pushed and pushed to the point where it seemed right. It was the decision not to push anymore. So like I say, the goal has not changed. It's just taken a bit of a side path. We're just going around the wall a touch here. So my goal right now, we're going to run this probably up till Christmas. And Ben's been amazing. For me, my biggest fear was, look, Ben's a highly regarded coach. He's a super, super guy. I felt like I'm just wasting his time. All I'm doing is moaning, and that's just not in my nature. I work with plenty of clients. I work with plenty of people, so I understand what's going on. But I've just always been one of these people who gets my head down and works. You know, you can set me a plan for 6 months and I'll be back. I'll come back. Robotic almost, and I felt like, you know, I know he works with high-end clients, and I felt like, I'm such a pain in his ass. But he's been so welcome, and this is really important for me, and it's really opened my eyes to coaching in general. This conversation's gone this way everywhere, but it's the way of, sadly, my brain works, not in one direction. But you know what's important to me, he was so understanding of what was going on. We devised a plan. You know, he reassured me. Again, I've worked with and seen people where you're just not treated as a human being. And this is one thing I've always wanted to put into my own coaching, and it's opened my eyes to more so do exactly that. It's to look at people on an individual level and work with them and their own abilities. Again, I'm not one for, I am, a spade is a spade with me. You know, you put in the work or you don't. I understand that, but also everyone's different. So achieving that end result there's not one way to skin a cat, is what I'm trying to say, in a roundabout way. So like I said, I can't thank Ben enough for just reassuring me for a time where I was getting super frustrated, as someone who knows at what level and what pace I can go at, which being somewhat slowed down. I think that's possibly my age as well, possibly. So yeah, and like I said, he's been amazing. So like I say, right now our goal is to just be, again, on a heighten a focus on a goal. So our goal has been, there's a goal in place, and I'm heightening all my intensity and focus on being the fittest, strongest man I can be. So for me, there's no let off, there's no whatever. We're going to lose a bit of weight. I'm adding a lot more cardio fitness into what I'm doing now, which is great. I want to be the fittest at that. Is it hard? Is it tough? Is it fun? Probably not. But I want to get very, very good at it, because that's how my mindset works. I wake up every day and I want to be very, very good at that now, because that is my new goal. Obviously dropping a lot of body weight, reducing in food is my strength. Going to start to be impacted possibly, but I'm going to ensure it doesn't as much as I possibly can. One of my biggest assets is my ability to take my mind to places that it probably shouldn't and fight super, super hard within the gym. It's now creating a bigger battle for me. You know, the goal's still achievable. It might be harder, but great. I'm someone that relishes in a challenge, rightly or wrongly, but I love it. So we have loads going on, and I feel like I've waffled, hopefully got a little bit across. of some value for those of you who are still watching. But that's kind of, I wanted to recap that here and not rushed in a gym or rush whatever. I wanted to, pretend I'm on the news, have sit down and try and get this across in a way that, you guys can sit and listen to what I have to say. So anyway, I'll stop talking. I think I've covered everything I wanted to say. I think we're back. We've had a lovely couple. Lauren's done some incredible shows. She's bypassed anything I've done in 6-7 years and 2, which is amazing. She's incredible. We're back to work. She's now gone into her off season, which is great. She has some studying to do alongside that as well. Forever keeping me on my toes, inspiring. It's great. And we're back. We've had a lovely couple of trips. We had a wonderful last trip. So things are very, very good. Very, very good. So now, like I say, we're back. That's my personal journey. And I just want to, so it's taking a step back potentially away from, let's say, the competing. I have nothing in the immediate. My goal right now is to get myself feeling good, but also now is to channel all that energy that I had or have into my clients and grow my work. And it's a real blessing for me to do so. We've got a couple of real good guys on board who are coming to help. And this just broadens my ability to help more people. And that's always been my goal. I wish I had 5 of me. The world maybe isn't ready for that, but I definitely think I found myself getting to a point where I just couldn't help as many people as I want to. We have a real good team. All of the above are people who've actually, all of them have been through my own process. I've worked with them. They understand kind of my values, my ethos. And for me, it's really important that my morals and my values stick within the company. And that is from, like you've seen in the podcast, I'm sure. If you haven't, go back and watch it. My original journey from obviously being someone who's by no means in shape, getting into shape, learning a lot of lessons on the way, becoming happier. And it's now helping the people that we want to help achieve that confidence and happiness. I had a call with someone yesterday where I don't care what people look like. It's about achieving an internal happiness and an internal fulfillment. So I feel we've got a great team around us now. So that's super exciting as well. Look, like I said to you, probably have said to you within this or not, I don't know what I've said, I've talked everything, but my goal is to get very, very good at whatever I do. So we are trying and help others do that. So my goal is to try and help as many people as possible, as well as pushing myself through. And like I said, I'll wrap it up, but I will always do. I live the bodybuilding lifestyle. I will live and breathe it as long as I can. Training, eating. This does not mean my foot comes off the gas. It means it gets revved up, just on a different journey. Like I say, I'm going to be the best brown eater in the world one day. That's the goal.